Hey, Brian Wright, Daily B 188, Filling the Void. Hey, it's Brian Wright from BrianWright732.com, Hivecast.com now, KillerBCSA.com, so many different things. So what am I talking about when I say the void? Conversation I keep happening over and over and over again, and it's something that I've even gone through with myself a lot of times, is understanding the void that can occur inside of us when we're not really, I guess it's self-love kind of thing, when we don't really understand or appreciate or respect ourselves completely because we have some weird hurdle to get over. And what I mean by hurdle is it's nuts. I don't know if I'm being too judgmental by saying nuts, but one thing that I find consistency in, it's in myself, it's in pretty much everyone I talk to, is that the doubts that we have are not things that are springing from ourselves. It's springing from our interactions with the world. And one of the things that we've got to really understand, the world doesn't do anything to us. It's how we interpret the world. It's how we process what the world provides that makes us who we are. And for a lot of us, most of us, all of us, there are things that have happened in our lives that have created ripple effects so that we have a continuing process. There's good and there's bad. I don't want to dwell on the negative side of it, but for most of us, when it comes to doubt, self-worth, when we have issues in those areas, so that when we have a challenge that comes, if our first instinct is not to go for it, it's to hold back. It's not because we don't want to go for it. It's because we don't believe, and more times than not, we don't believe because of some experience in our life where somebody said something to us, and we just don't let it go. We hold on to it. And the funny part about it is when you backtrack to that person or that thing that is holding you back, if you address them now, they probably won't even know what the fuck you're talking about because they're dealing with their own shit. So a lot of these things that we put weight on, that we carry around with us, the person that had that weird interaction, they're not even paying attention to us or even remembering what was done. So we keep fighting these demons and ghosts in a lot of ways that don't exist anymore. That's why I say ghosts, because it's dead issues for the world, but it's something that we keep alive in our memory, in our psychology. So the thing is you really have to understand who you are and what you want, and then you have to be practical about what are your real strengths? What are the things that you are actually doing? What have you done? What are you working towards? And be real about it. That's where it's being analytical and not judgmental. Because when we're judgmental, that's, okay, I didn't do this, so I'm a piece of shit. Instead of saying, well, I didn't do this, and this is the reason why I didn't do that. Now I understand, so now I'm smarter, I'm stronger. The next time I'm in that situation, I'm going to have a more positive response to it because I've analyzed it and I've walked it through. So you have an opportunity where you can carry shit around forever and never deal with it and always blame the world, or you can get over yourself and get over these people that are really not paying attention, be analytical about your experience, and then take all of that experience and use it as the foundation to create future success. So when you say to yourself, I feel, do you really feel that way? Or are you responding to a way you're interpreting something that somebody else said or did, and you think they feel a certain way and that they might still feel a certain way, and that's just something you haven't gotten over? Are you really operating in today, or are you living in the past? I mean, in my own life, I have people that I was operating at a certain level with, and they as a person have changed. They've evolved from the point in which I had an issue with them. So in some cases, it's 10 years later, I am behaving as if they're that person from 10 years ago instead of the person that they are today. And I'm hating on them because of something they did and they've gotten over, and they've come to terms with themselves. They don't operate that way. They may even have said they're sorry to me for things they've done, but I am not evolved enough with myself to get past it. So I carry that baggage around and I'm dealing with it as if it's a different time. We all go through these things. But the more we can work through that and eject that, the more clear we are and the more real and the more practical and logical we can be. You might think of this as some psychology self-help thing, but really from a practical business level, if you're a leader, the way you lead can be severely impacted by the way you're interpreting past experiences. You could be really giving because you need everyone to be your friend because you didn't feel like you had enough friends when you were younger. Or you could be really hard on people because someone was hard on you. You could be just perpetuating cycles of negativity that are influencing your decisions, that are, giving you the results that you don't want. So you have to get yourself out of the process, and you have to be able to lead in the most effective way possible. You should not be sitting here trying to work through your personal psychology. You should be giving people what they need to be successful so that your project can be successful and you achieve the things that you set out to get, not use other people to solve your personal baggage. You're just abusing other people to make yourself better. It's the negative thing. So if you want to be a leader, you really do have to understand who you are. You have to understand who you are, why you are, and take responsibility for all these things. You can't lead while blaming. You have to shoulder all the blame. You have to give away all the credit. If you don't understand that, don't lead, because leading is a very lonely place because people are following you. And even if they don't put out to a level that you're comfortable with, you have to look at it from an analytical perspective, and you have to say, okay, fine, these people didn't perform, and that has to be my responsibility. If I look at it any other way, I'm not going to be able to have the motivation to pour myself into these people to get them to achieve more than what they did. I've got to put myself in a position where I'm giving and giving and giving to pull out of them what I need. Not giving in terms of trying to make them happy with me, giving to make them effective, doing what it takes to get the job done, maximizing people's skills and potential in a way that benefits both sides. That's why this whole issue that could come about where if you're trying to make friends at work instead of making effective work becomes an issue, because you'll, decrease your productivity to create a friendship, when the reality of it is, if you're a leader, you can never really be friends with the people below you because it brings too much emotion into the situation. You have to be friendly with everyone, but at the end of the day, you have to realize you're on top alone, and you have to lead, and you have to give these people reason to follow. That's not emotional, that's logical, that's practical, that's results driven. Not some weird, oh, you're my friend, so you should. That's the number one, that's the beginning of most failures people have, is where they start blurring the lines between friendship and work. I'm not saying that you can never be friends with people, I guess, but you do have to come with it from the attitude of you are friendly but not really friends. In time, that stuff can transcend. Some of the greatest friends I have in life are people that have trained with me, but the thing is, they became my friends from the sacrifice because they subscribed to the same things that I did, and we subscribed together, and we sacrificed together for each other to achieve something greater than we could on our own. And through that struggle, we've developed a respect that goes beyond business, that goes beyond a financial transaction, that we do for each other because it is above that now. And with a business or without a business, we stay together. So there have been times where we didn't do business together and our friendship was maintained. There are times when I've had students that have been with me for 20 years, didn't train, but these are the people that, sweat and bled with me all over the world, and we all subscribe to a certain thing. The connection stayed no matter what. When the money wasn't there, I didn't kick them out. When the business wasn't there, we didn't stop talking. So that's where it goes beyond. So you've really got to understand what your relationships are and how they've evolved. So certain business relationships will evolve into more familiar situations, but 99.9% of your relationships at work will never evolve to that, and that's okay. As long as you're providing value for them, which in turn gives them the ability to provide value for you, the relationship stays. It's as simple as that. That's business. So when you're sitting there and you're wondering why you're not satisfied, you really have to look at how you view yourself. You have to see how comfortable you are with yourself. And if you're not comfortable and you do have a hole that you created, no matter what people give you, it's never going to fill that hole. You've got to fill that hole for yourself. And in filling that hole for yourself, it's going to give you the ability to have a more honest and real relationship with those people around you. So that's the thing. You got to fill that void with self-knowledge, self-love, self-respect. So the heater just kicked in the background, the big fucking blower I've got here at the gym, which is screwing up my audio a little bit. So I'm going to take that as my cue to hop off. But seriously, just understand that if you don't love and respect yourself, you do not have the ability to truly accept love and respect from anyone else, and you don't have the ability to provide for the people you care about in a meaningful, functional, foundational way. So take some time, look inside, figure your shit out. All right, this is Brian Wright. This has been the Daily B188. You can find the rest of the episodes at brianwright732.com. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at brianwright732. And if you want to train with me, you can come to killerbcsa.com and find out more information. So I hope this provided some value, and I am out.